Because Gen Con's next weekend, right?
Yeah, this coming weekend.
Oh, thank God. I'm so tired of holding back on this show. Although I'm going to have something to talk about soon with Gen Con standings, because we're not going this year. Maybe next year. Hoping next year. Assuming we can grow up, be adults, and get our passports. Let's talk about Wave 2 War of Light. Alright. I haven't got that much yet. We've only done 1 month, but last time I felt my episode was a little too late. And I didn't get a chance to really explain or give anybody enough time to think about it. But we also have a month 1, month 2, or Wave 1, Wave 2 combined coming up in month 5 and 6. So knowing what's good in Wave 1 and in Wave 2 is a good thing. So, for those of you who watched our video about our recap, we discussed that our venue runs, I think it's straight off of the sheet of the WizKids. I'm not 100% sure. But we do get, for Wave 2, we get to play at 400 points. We got to bring our power battery, use any handout and the scenario pack rings and constructs. So, but not so if you pulled a prime last week, you can't use a construct from that prime. Kind of get my meaning. So that's kind of the meta that I'm talking about with our Wave 2. And we're going to go from there. So, in the stack of commons, there's quite a few standout pieces. One of the things most worth talking about, of course, are always the recruits. You always generally put them in your team last or second last. They're good point fillers. They always kind of follow the theme of that Lantern Corps, and they're really good about that. Like, for instance, the Star Sapphire recruits, they give you the Mystics and the Shape Change, which is awesome. The Indigo give you a jump to a character and heal them up, plus some Close Combat Expert to go with it, and some sidestep. I piloted one of these bat buggers to awesome results in 9 months too. So they're good splash in at the very end. They're not consider them your first choice. One of the things worth noting before I go any further, and especially for those of you where your venue lets you use the power battery, the color packs are awesome to pull. But they can also be misleading to pull. Let's take, for instance, the red Lantern pack. It's dangerous to get that because it is a strictly close combat set in a strictly ranged combat set. For those of you who haven't been playing a lot of War of Light or haven't been really paying attention to the game itself during War of Light, the Green Lanterns have a lot of range. The Black Lanterns have a lot of range. The Blue Lanterns have a lot of range. The Yellow Lanterns, the only ones that aren't packing a great deal of range, or any kind of range for that matter, are the Red Lanterns. Even the Blue Lanterns are packing some mediocre range. Now granted, a lot of the Red Lanterns do have a charge, a move and attack ability. Some of them come with flight, but a lot of them are grounded. So with month 3 already done, and that space map is kind of not your friend anymore, you got to understand is those Red Lanterns, though tempting, you might want to dial it back with them. I wouldn't make him first choice for anything. Except, of course, Sky Gardener. If your team can fit this guy, he is very awesome. He's got 12 attack with charge, flurry, shape change, 17 defense, right? But he also comes with precision strike. He's pretty nuts. And then I think later on in the dial, he gets, of course, the penetrating poison that the Red Lanterns get. So if you can get him in there, he's the most likely to be able to get there with your shape change. Very good figure. But the Red Lanterns are very tempting figures, but unless you're packing some of the ones like Dexstar who have flight, they're a very dangerous choice. Lara is another option, also comes with flight. Just be careful with your Red Lantern choices. Really what I'm getting at. They can end up burning you pretty hard. The Star Sapphires, of course, always a safe bet if you're playing the heavy range game. Especially if you pull that ring, give them the +1 stats, that extra range will help. They are awesome. The Black Lanterns are weird in the sense that their recruit, the animate, if you happen to pull one and you have other Black Lanterns, keep them off the board. Why not pull an extra 30-point figure onto the board that you've pulled in your pack? You get them on...
Sorry, the trait that brings the animates onto the board is actually the animates trait, so you need to have at least one animate on the board to bring other animates onto the board.
Okay, never mind. Black Lanterns suck. Now, if you pull the ring, they're pretty neat. I almost played a team with 2 Firestorms and a Hal Jordan Black Lantern team. But I overheard some people talking at our video. And I was like, what is everybody talking about? That guy is Sodom Yat. Okay, go watch the video. I already told you guys. I won with him. Sodom Yat is awesome! He's the new weaponer, alright? The weaponer in Wave 1 was practically an autoplay at 211. Sodom Yat is practically an autoplay at 250. If your venue is running 300 points, you have to be a little bit more careful with him. A little bit more careful with him. And by little bit, I mean you don't have to be careful with him at all. He's got 3 stop clicks. One of which you can take like 6 damage, stop on it. Okay, now I'm hard to hit. And if you're playing with the power battery, which if you don't play with the power battery with the scenario pack green ring, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Unless your venue...
Or your venue's not letting you, in which case go to find another venue. Honestly. Don't give it to me if you're not going to let me play with it. That said, Sodom Yat with a Green Lantern power battery from top click to last click is pretty amazing. He does get a little wacky on the click number... by wacky, I mean not so good on click number 6. He's got 1 click that I find questionable and is still pretty mediocre with the Green Lantern power battery. And then after that, he becomes all awesomeness. Now, he's not healable. With a 19 defense, which becomes a 20 from a Green Lantern imbued power battery, yeah, okay. Pretty awesome. A couple things to talk about. As far as characters that are definitely worth playing, if you happen to be playing, let's say you happen to pull Red Lantern Core Pack, keep that Catapult handy. If you pull Soranak Natu, for the love of God, player, because you're going to need to heal your guys back up, as they will be burying themselves in the fray. Or back up your Red Lanterns with Indigo Lanterns, like Monk, or even better as the Indigo Lantern Tribe recruits. Because when they take that damage, it's always good to heal a little bit of it back. Now, I have to double check on the stacking, but if I understand this correctly, if you happen to have 2 Indigo Tribe guys near a guy who takes 3 damage, both of their abilities are going to trigger and they're going to heal 2 clicks there. And you've got 2 guys now in the face, now adjacent to this guy. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Indigo Tribe does tend to come with Close Combat Expert. That is very dangerous when you're able to make yourself adjacent. It's very frightening if you come to think of it. Of course, that also puts you in the danger zone for Red Lantern Recruit or Red Lantern Core guys, but if they're dealing damage to you in the first place, you're getting the next turn to do the Close Combat Expert to their faces, and their poison shouldn't be a threat as you're about to do a butt ton of damage to them. As far as the super rares in this set are concerned, you know what? I gotta say this, and I kind of have to semi-applaud WizKids on what they've done. The super rares in this set are not uber awesome to play in. It's great to pull a super rare, but I haven't turned and seen a super rare where I looked at it and said, if I pull that, I'm going to play that except for Black Hand. But that's because he's also an entity. So he can possess, which means he's only 25 points that you generally have left over. So there's nothing to worry about with that. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, the entities, of course, the chases, that's another story. Pull a chase, you generally want to throw that 25-point figure on something. There's nothing wrong with it, because it is a sealed tournament that we're all trying to win. I don't know what else there is to talk about this set. The entities are great. The super rares are mediocre at best. I haven't had a chance to pull Captain Matui myself. Some people were comparing her early on to being the next weaponer. I don't know. I think Sodom Yat's a better weaponer than Captain Matui. You can call me out on that if you like, but I mean, Sodom Yat lets you get away with murder with regards to how carelessly you play him. Whereas Captain Matui, you have to kind of stay back and play a little bit more carefully with her. As a counterpoint. That said, I've done my best that I can to help you guys with your things. Don't play controller. And hope you guys do as awesome at your War of Lights as I've been doing at my War of Light, because if you've been watching the video, I've been doing pretty good.